What's going on, knuckleheads? Welcome to the Fighters Rep 11 preview. This is a little something I wanted to do for all our knuckleheads out there. It's been a minute since you guys have seen me. Of course, we've kind of shifted gears here to concentrating on Fighters Rep as opposed to talking about other fights so much because, well, they're finally letting us put events together. The last event, Fighters Rep 10, was a resounding success, and I believe Fighters Rep 11 is going to one-up that in every way. If you haven't got your tickets already to Fighters Rep 11, they're available in the link below. If you want to access the live stream, all you've got to do is join the channel. It's just $9.99 a month. You can cancel anytime. And I also want to thank you guys. A lot of you joined and didn't unjoin. You guys stuck around, so appreciate you guys supporting. By doing that, you're definitely supporting the channel. Again, you can just join the channel, get your tickets or live stream in the link below, or go to fightersrep.com. So first and foremost, man, the most important thing, let's get to the meat and potatoes. This card for Fighters Rep 11 is just absolutely ridiculously stacked. We've got 16 fights so far. Of course, the card is always subject to change. But I kind of wanted to go through some of these fights with you guys, not only the amateur portion, but the pro portion as well, because this is going to be a night to remember. We continue to build the best strikers on earth with our pure striking rule set following the IKF's unified rules, kickboxing rule set. So first and foremost, I want to talk about some heavyweight action we have on the undercard, which is Kevin Ross out of Milton Arguello's MMA Academy, a relatively new school, very new. Shout out to Milton Arguello, taking on Guillermo de los Santos. These are two big, strong heavyweights. They're going to be throwing down, and I can't wait for this fight. Now, Guillermo comes from Squirrel Muay Thai. That's Cody Sessions' gym, and Cody produces nothing but absolute killers and bangers. We saw that in CJ Watson, who just came up a little bit short in a title fight in his last fight at Fighters Rep 10 against Evan Bolton. But, in my opinion, Bolton is the bigger guy. CJ moved up in weight to sort of take on the challenge. And I think personally that CJ probably beats just about anybody at 142 or 147 pounds. So nothing to be ashamed of there. But my point is, another guy out of Squirrel Muay Thai taking on Kevin Light-Skinned Daddy Ross. I mean, that's actually what he calls himself. And listen, I absolutely love the nickname. The guy is so passionate about fighting. I'm sure Guillermo, coming out of Cody's gym, is the same way. Two big boys, and they're going to bring it. One shot can change everything in a heavyweight fight, and I'm looking forward to that one because, even though we haven't had Guillermo compete for us, we have seen Kevin Ross, and he is outrageous as far as technicality and how passionate he is about the fight game. Now we've also got Raymond Martinez out of Black House MMA, the EYR division, brought to you by Coach Raging, going up against All In MMA's Diego Guzman. Two young bucks coming up in the game. They're going to be competing at 185 pounds. Imagine that. These boys are cutting down to 185. So these are two big boys. And I'm really excited about this matchup because you've got Black House, EYR division, and you've got All In MMA with coaches Matt Johnson and Chanarith Pot, couple of local legends. As is Coach Raging at this point. He's brought us nothing but fire to every event, so I'm very excited about that fight. We've also got the return of Christian Tobias representing for Yakubian Muay Thai, big-time school, going up against Ruben Solis from the Shack System, a school that sort of when they started, we began working with them in the world of MMA, and as we've shifted into striking and become a pure kickboxing promotion, this is the first time, getting them back as pure kickboxers. We've also worked with them, I believe, on the Muay Thai front when we did a sort of mixed striking rules show. But really excited to have them back. Really excited to have these teams going up against each other. And these are California's finest gyms going up against each other. Next, we've got Hector Vergara versus Edgar Zaragoza out of Brood 9. Of course, Edgar Vergara out of NHC. As we know, the same camp as the Korean Pitbull. Shout out to Krishna Kim. Going up against Edgar Zaragoza out of Brood 9, a gym that's also surging in the Fightersrep world, man. Edgar Zaragoza had a beautiful comeback win at Fightersrep 10 and got the finish over a very tough Gavi Myth. Went through some adversity in his debut kickboxing fight. Came back, showed heart, showed grit, and won, and showed technique. He's going up against a kid in Hector Vergara who seems very pumped by the fact that they're both Hispanic fighters, they're both Latino fighters, and he just wants to bring the fire that we know a lot of the Mexican, a lot of the Latino fighters bring. And Hector Vergara, representing for Jalisco, Mexico, he said so right here on the channel. So I'm very excited about having these two go face to face. Next up, we've got a new Sabri out of Muay Thai Academy. Shout out to David Huey, who will be calling the fight, the head of Muay Thai Academy, or Muay Thai America rather, going up against David Marquez, also from All In MMA. This is Coach Pot and Coach Matt Johnson's young upstart here in David Marquez. You know, these two are kind of, you know, just getting started, still fresh in that 127-pound division, so you could expect ridiculous speed out of these two fighters, and I think this is going to be action-packed. We've also got Gabe Valverde on this card, you guys, going up against Brood 9's Mark Kamishki. Valverde also out of NHC, and as we've seen before with Valverde, man, he doesn't stop until you splatter. But at the same time, we've got Mark Kamishki, 6'5", the much younger man, the much longer man. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be an absolute war, because that's all Gabe Valverde knows. And I think Mark Kamishki is going to have to be very technical in this fight to get through it in one piece. I think this is going to be a fantastic fight. We've seen how technical Kamishki is. We've seen how hard he is. He really knows how to utilize that leverage at 6'5", but we've seen the same from Gabe Valverde. I'm expecting a firefight in this one, you guys. I mean, I'm telling you, this one alone worth the price of admission. Melo Palmuk going up against Khalil Silva, the son of Anderson Silva, who got an amazing 8-second stoppage in his last fight. But look, Palmuk's got 3 fights under his belt. He's got more experience. A very tough Turkish fighter representing for Muay Thai America. And of course, Khalil Silva coming out of Silva Muay Thai, learning also from the best in his father. This is a very interesting matchup for me. I feel like Palmuk, very physically strong, a lot of heart, took this fight without any sort of hesitation, going up against a lightning fast from the 8 seconds that we saw of him, Khalil Silva, who I'm sure has some great training behind him. This one I'm very excited about. Will we see Khalil compete for more than just a few seconds in this fight? I believe we will. I believe this is a good fight. I believe this is an even fight between the two of them. Again, Palmuk with a little bit more experience out there in the amateur ranks, but Khalil Silva, is he the talent that he looked to be in his last fight? That remains to be seen, and we're going to be finding out coming November 5th. We've also, this is a pro bout I wanted to talk about. Connor Bracken returns after the absolutely insane fight he had with Eddie Jackson, where he drew with Eddie Jackson at Fightersrep 10. I mean, that fight was just worth the price of admission alone. He's going to be returning in the co-main event of the evening, taking on Classic Fight Team's very own Tyler Smith. This is a matchup, you guys, that I cannot wait for, because these are two guys originally from the OC. Tyler Smith still in the OC, still training at Classic Fight Team, one of the best gyms on the planet, taking on Connor Bracken, who is originally from the OC, moved up north out there at Johnson on Fairtex, the Wooden Man's Muay Thai gym, also one of the best striking gyms in the world, no doubt. And I mean, this is for who the man is in the OC, right? This is a territorial fight. This is a fight between two ridiculously talented schools. I mean, some of the best striking gyms in the world. You got freaking TJ Dillashaw, right, training out of Classic Fight Team, among others, and of course Johnson on Fairtex on the other side. And these guys have personality for days. It's going to be, you know, mayhem, metal, and mullets on the side of Connor Bracken, taking on a Tyler Smith who, you know, is out here putting out, you know, Instagram stories using, you know, the Chocolate Factory background music. I mean, these guys are a couple of characters, and I have no doubt that there's some crazy beneath, you know, both of these guys, and it's going to come out on November 5th. You know, back to the main, or rather back to the undercard, Gustavo Flores versus Fabian Hernandez. This is a rematch between two guys who were very intense in their first fight. Although they competed in Muay Thai, this will be a kickboxing fight. You know, that's all we do, so it's going to be pure striking, no clinching, and I'm very excited about this matchup between two, again, amazing schools in Blitz Muay Thai, you know, headed by Jason Childers, versus Fight Solutions HQ, headed by Jerson Shilapaki. I mean, this is going to be an amazing fight between two guys that are becoming rivals in the 127-pound division, and they had some heat last time, so we're going to see what happens this time. Hopefully they don't trip out and cause any issues and keep it in the ring. That's what we're looking for. But definitely some heat between those two. Then we've got a fight at light heavyweight, 205 pounds, between a couple of debuts or close to it in Willie Fields III taking on Cameron Spencer. Very excited about both of these guys. Two big, strong guys. Again, they're cutting down to 205 pounds. Fields out of the Boxing Institute, and Cameron Spencer out of Hardworks Fitness, which is, you know, where we're going to be doing the open workout for this event. So, you know, a very exciting match, again, between two prospects, one out of the Boxing Institute in Mar Vista, and the other one out of Hardwork Fitness right nearby here in Long Beach. Then we've got, of course, we've got the main event on the pro card, man. Listen, David Pacheco, David Dynamite Pacheco, going up against Andrew Wynn out of Manny Mancha's gym. Listen, David Pacheco brings it every single time. Striking MMA, he doesn't care. The guy's an absolute beast, as is Andrew Wynn, and I think you guys are going to see why they call David Pacheco Dynamite in this main event on November 5th at Fightersrep 11. Listen, I got a feeling this 170-pound tilt is going to be worth the price of admission by itself. David Pacheco brings the war every time, and Andrew Wynn is going to have to negate that. We've also got some more amazing prospects on this card. We've got Paul Garrity out of Paragon Academy up in Santa Barbara, I believe, taking on David Rivera, also out of Classic Fight Team. This is a young amateur standout that's been competing with us for a while. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to find him as many fights as we would like. He's in the 170-pound division. Obviously with Corona, it's been difficult getting him a fight as well as for Garrity. But, you know, luckily these two are coming together. And listen, these are two kids that are on the verge of turning pro, in my opinion. That's how high their skill level is. They're both sparring and training with some of the best guys in the region. And I think you're going to see some explosiveness out of this fight. And these are two kids to watch in the future. Next up, you know, we got to talk about this one, and I believe, and I'm negotiating and I'm pushing to make this one for a title fight. It is Gabriel Silva, the other son of the GOAT, Anderson Silva. He's our Fightersrep and Southern Regional champ for the IKF. He's going to be taking on a very, very dangerous and more experienced Vincent Familari, a guy who I've been wanting to work with for a very long time. And listen, this is as close to a 50-50 fight in this sport between two supremely talented competitors that you are going to find. It is going to be very interesting to see if Gabe Silva can use his speed and his technique and his explosiveness to get by a very tough, very technical, very strong Vincent Familari. This is a fight I am absolutely drooling about. And I just can't wait to see what happens in this fight. And, you know, this is a fight you guys are going to have to tune in to watch, because I do believe the IKF, you know, I hope the IKF will approve this for a major title with the IKF. And I think this one is going to mean a lot to both fighters. You know, I see both. These are another pair of guys I see going pro very soon. And you're going to see some pro level, in my opinion, action in that fight. We've also got Luis Moreno coming back, represented for Black House EYR, going up against Josh Jenkins out of Blitz Muay Thai. Listen, we've seen these two before. Moreno brought an absolute battle. Moreno brought Armageddon to Jonathan Montoya's door at the last event. Came up just short, but listen, earned everybody's respect and made a million fans out there. And he's going up against Josh Jenkins, who's just a supremely talented and tough kid in his own right, representing for Blitz Muay Thai. This is one that I am so excited about. And if you know anything about these two guys, you know they are not going to take too many steps backwards. Very aggressive fighters, very strong, and this is going to be a war. Leading off the main card, leading off the pro bouts, is another fight that I am absolutely buzzing about. And you know I've said that about a bunch of these fights. But this one really has a special place in my heart, because it is two amazingly talented amateurs stepping up to fight each other at the very beginning of their pro careers. It is Mikey 2 Raw Shaw taking on Roman Puga. And listen, Mikey Shaw, 7-time amateur champion, taking on Roman Puga, a guy who's had a boxing match and knocked his opponent out in the pros, a guy who was a Fightersrep amateur champion in MMA, a guy who's just very dangerous. Two guys that are very, very dangerous, and they're facing each other in a rule set that really neither one has ever specialized in. You know, I feel like Mikey Shaw more of a Muay Thai fighter, Roman Puga more of an MMA fighter with incredible hands, which gave him the ability to go 1-0 so far as a pro boxer. They're meeting in the middle. It's kickboxing. And I feel like I mean, look, this fight right here, right? I know I've said this multiple times. Get your tickets for this fight. Get your tickets for this fight, because this fight's going to be outrageous. Finally, we've got No Chain Warfare coming back, now represented for Team Victory, Crew Rod, big shout out to them, taking on Kings MMA's Morgan Taylor. These are two very big boys fighting at 205 pounds. And where there are big boys, there are big shots. We've seen the athleticism of Nuofor in the past. What will Morgan Taylor bring to the table? Something tells me he's going to be bringing a lot, represented for Kings MMA Anaheim. And, you know, I just absolutely cannot wait for this entire card. Again, the card is subject to change. Fights may be added, a couple may drop, who knows, but for the most part, you know, this is the gist of the card so far, and it is absolutely delicious. Get your tickets to Fightersrep 11 in the link below, or access the live stream in the link below, or by joining this channel. Just $9.99 a month, worth every freaking cent. And by doing so, by joining the channel at $9.99 a month, you continue to help me build the only kickboxing promotion with a pro license in the entire state of California. The only one that's showing love to these fighters and building them up in this fashion, you know, and I appreciate your help in doing that, guys. It's a lot of hard work. I look forward to seeing you guys on November 5th, whether in person or right here online, and I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about this card. Be sure to subscribe, be sure to like, Be sure to join. Be sure to comment below. We'll talk soon.